So it's mostly relative, right? I mean, the depends on what stage of the life cycle the NBFC is there, right? If it is a new NBFC, the newly set up NBFC, obviously there is a lot more spend go in the IT spend go in the beginning, right? If it is a stable, ongoing NBFC, then it's more like OpEx and the newer investment on technology, right? One very important thing about NBFC's tech spend is how to make the core application solid, right? So you kind of invest big on that, make your core transaction system solid, and then you could spend a lot of the money on the whole surrounding applications, right? Which is more on the OpEx, right? OpEx in the sense pay per use, right? So many innovations happening from a customer onboarding perspective, data analytics perspective, generative AI, customer experience, and all that, right? Those innovation you don't need to kind of build in house because those solutions are available in the market. So if you have a solid backend, right, and a middleware, there you spend more, then you could use the other enablers in more OpEx mode, right? Pay per use. And the pay per use, the benefit of that, if your business is doing good, you spend more on technology. If your business cycle is kind of down, you could reduce the spend on technology on the OpEx mode. Yeah. So the whole mindset or culture, right, in the organization is very, very important, right? If you look at a lot of financial services companies, they are becoming a fintech organization, right? In a way, basically the technology companies are becoming kind of financial services, right? And that's how the new age companies are, right? They call their themselves technology companies first, and then the financial services companies, right? And that mindset is kind of percolating into the traditional financial services companies as well, right? So unless the people, right, people working with the company knows that the future is technology, right? It's going to be very difficult from a change management perspective. So it's a management responsibility to ensure that the appreciation of the technology solution and why we are doing it, right? There could be three aspects. One is about the biggest aspect is the whole customer experience, right? How do you kind of enhancing the customer experience? You are putting a technology solution in place to enhance the customer experience. Obviously, the stickiness of the customer would increase, right? That's why you're putting it. Second thing is operational efficiency. The technology is going to kind of help you to reduce your technology spend. That's operational efficiency, right? And third is the whole business scale, how you kind of scale up, right? And that's how the technology is going to help. So if that mindset goes into the people, right, the employees, then the change management kind of becomes easier, right? And obviously, with the culture comes the technology training, right? You put a newer solution. Why exactly how exactly it's helping them to do their day-to-day job, right? People kind of spending a lot of time doing operational things, right? If that time reduces and then more time goes into some kind of thinking job, right? Then obviously people would also like, I mean, that they would kind of go up the organizational hierarchy or the skill themselves up, right? So that aspect, how do you kind of enforce using culture and training? That's important from a change management perspective. So there are two aspects of delinquency management, right? The ability of customer to pay back or willingness, right? So customer wants to pay, but he doesn't have capability to pay. That is one aspect. And customer wants to fraudulently don't want to pay you, right? So that's the second aspect of it. So how do you identify in your customer base, right? Whether it's ability or whether it's a willingness. So willingness is fraud. So fraud detection, there are technologies from a fraud detection perspective, right? Does that customer has any cases pending against him? Has he defaulted on his loans with other lenders? If you get that information beforehand, then you know this guy is a fraudulent, and I need to kind of more cautious about it, and then maybe kind of get my money back as early as possible, right? So that is a fraud aspect of it, identifying fraud early and then taking action accordingly. The first aspect I talked about is capability. If the customer has genuine problem, right, whether he or she is not able to pay, then how do you kind of structure your loan accordingly so it makes easy for him to pay you back, right? Give him that option, right? And all is kind of done using data, right? So as much data, right? And the theme of the event, today's event, is hyper personalization, right? How much you know about your customer is important from various sources, right? So if you get that data, you kind of build that insight, right? And get more information about the customer, you can take action accordingly, right? And there are technology solutions available which can give you early warning signal about the customer, right? Whether he's going to pay you back or not. Or there are technology solution available which can kind of identify frauds done by the customer, or the propensity of the customer committing fraud. Those kind of solutions are also in the market. So the regulatory aspect is more from customer perspective, right? How are you how are you putting customer interest on top? I think that's the primary aspect about any regulation, right? You are not shortchanging the customer. You're not kind of unnecessarily giving hassles to customer. That is aspect of the regulation. So if you by spirit follow the customer first approach, right, regulation becomes a lot easier, right? Whether it's a data privacy, customers' data privacy, the charges, what you're charging to the customer, the kind of customer service you are providing, right? How are you kind of responding to the customer complaints? All these, right? If you have a technology, obviously you can take a technology help in doing this, right? Technology solutions about that. So if you by spirit follow all these things, right, the regulation kind of become easy to follow.